I'm Ria Bia.
I'm Ranella.
And I'm Dandada.
And this is I Survived 2020,
a podcast
and lifestyle brand
dedicated to shining a light on stories of opportunity born out of adversity.
Recorded live at my pod studio in Pasadena, California. Keep us locked.
Okay. Welcome back to another episode of I Survived 2020 podcast. I'm your girl, Ria Bia, here with my host, Marcus Dandada Johnson. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. It's been an amazing week. It's been a lot going on in the media.
A lot.
We're dealing with unfortunately another police shooting in Minneapolis. The shooting of Daunte Wright. Oh man.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. We're still following the Derek Chauvin trial, as well as just heard about this mass shooting in Minneapolis at a FedEx location, which is just really heartbreaking to continuously hear and see what's going on in the world. And it's, it can be a little rough sometimes.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot to deal with. But, I'm just hoping as far as the trial goes that, we get a guilty verdict, obviously. I'd hate to see what happens if that did not happen.
Right. Absolutely.
We'll be right back at where we were a year ago. So I'm just praying that everything works out, praying for the family of Daunte Wright. It's crazy. It's
always really sad. And, on today's episode, we have a really special guest. And with all this turmoil going on in the world, it's always great to have somebody who is in his community making a positive impact and gives us something to look forward to. Right. So I'm really excited about today's guest. I know that this is a person who you've, established a relationship with in recent months and really important to the community.
I mean, you talk about a pillar in the community. That's the first word I think of when it comes to this individual. He is a father, a motivator, a leader in the community.
A marathon runner. A health guru, and is also known as the mayor of L.A. Forget Eric Garcetti.
Right. This is the real mayor of L.A.
Right. Let's give it up for Alrick Butta.
We got Butta in the building.
What's happening?
How you doing?
I'm great, man. Thank you guys for having me today. Dandada, that's a nice sweater you got on right there,
hey,
brother.
Man, I'm feeling your sweater.
Listen, man, shout out to the I Survived 2020 fam.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for the merch. I appreciate it.
Thank
you guys for having me.
We did on everything. We did not plan this. I mean,
we did not, but I like it. I like it.
That's a good message. So wait, Butta, how did you get the name Butta? Because I've always wondered that.
So I've been Butta for quite some time now. A basketball coach gave it to me as a kid. Told me I was smooth like butter, and it's just stuck. Like I've been Butta forever. My mom calls me Butta. My family calls me that. So, when companies send me things, that's what's on the box.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No. So that's just who I am.
So you were born and raised in South Central Los Angeles. Tell us.
Well, I'm not born, but I've been here the majority of my life.
Where were you born?
I was born in Belize, actually.
So
I came here when I was 2 years old, and I've been in South Central ever since.
So you call South Central home? That's where you were raised.
That's home. That's definitely home. Belize is home as well. Shout out to my folks, but South Central that has my heart.
Tell us a little bit about
growing up in LA. What was that like?
It was. For me, it was a great time. Like I'm not gonna hit you with the, oh my God, I grew up so poor, and my mom made a decent living for me and my sister. She was able to, show us some things. Went to school in the inner city, but I did so much growing up. I played basketball, football, I skated, did a bunch of just different things to just meet a lot of just different people and see so many. And as not be stuck in, one central area. I was all over the place. I've never been like tied down. Like I've never had a curfew. My mom has never been like, be in by this time, or, just kind of been on me tough because she knew I wasn't a bad kid.
Mm-hmm.
I was always gonna come home. She knew I wasn't going to jail. Like that was never.
Yeah.
I knew how far to take things. You know what I'm saying?
So you were a pretty responsible kid.
Yeah, I was very responsible, very independent. So, but growing up in South Central, it's you see a lot, you experience a lot, and it makes for a great story in the end. So You know, I've enjoyed my time here.
So you started running, and you told us that you played basketball growing up. Where did running come into play? Was that something that, obviously when you're playing basketball, you're getting a lot of cardio running back and forth on the court, but as far as running recreationally and like running long distance, that's not something that you typically see.
I never liked to run.
Definitely.
I was never into running at all. So
never.
It was like, for me, played sports, running was just like, y'all sucked at that game. Go do some suicide.
That was like punishment. That was like punishment.
It was definitely punishment. So that's what I tell people all the time. It was punishment growing up. So it was never anything that I wanted to do growing up. I started running 7 years ago as a way just to lose weight. I was on my way to becoming a father, and in the process of my daughter being on the way, I'm working multiple jobs, trying to make a way for my kid. Losing track of of just activity. Like I'm working odd jobs when I'm not working. I'm either sleeping, I'm eating. So one day I looked up and I saw a picture of myself, and it was like, yo, that's not what you're used to looking like, So I saw that picture, and then, like I said, just trying to make a way. I'm like, I don't want to spend excess money on a gym membership, so let me just start running. Running started off, 1 mile into 2. It was just like a recreational thing for me. Just run around my neighborhood real quick. I was doing about, let's say, 4, maybe 5, 6 miles max. Nothing too crazy. It wasn't nothing that I loved at that point. Right. Fall 2017, a good friend of mine, he had ran a marathon, and was like, he told me, like, you're gonna run LA Marathon in 2018. I told him he was out of his mind.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about, like, I'm never gonna run 26 miles in my life.
Right. Only crazy people.
You got me effed up. That's pretty much like what I want to tell him. But we trained, and we did it. We trained in 4 months. Knocked it out in March of 2018. And other than having my daughter, it was the greatest thing I've ever done in my life.
Right.
So to be able to, from where I come from, this is a Black man. Like, we don't really set goals for ourselves, but, so to set a goal, and knock it out was very, very rewarding for me. To push myself past, boundaries and past things that I never thought I would achieve and accomplish. So once I started doing 8 miles, 10 miles, and seeing that I'm able to continue to go, it did something to me, to continue to kind of knock down these barriers. So when I got across that 26, it was, I shed some tears.
I was going to ask you, did you cry?
Almost definitely, bro. It was like, it's more mental than anything. So, because your body's gonna, like, you have points through a marathon where your body breaks down on you, and you feel like you can't go anymore, but the mind is able to push you through, because you have to find something to get you past those points. Like, my thing was, my daughter's at the finish line waiting on me. She's never going to see me fail. So,
that's right.
So like when I got to mile 20 and I wanted to give up and quit, I'm like, nah, I gotta get to my baby.
Right.
So if I gotta crawl across that line, I'm getting there.
That's right.
So,
it's interesting when you talk about that first mile, when you first woke up and said, like, hey, I need to lose a little bit of weight, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start running. That first mile that you ran on that first day, I'm sure it was kind of difficult. Like, dang, I just ran a mile. And then fast forward when you're running 26.2 miles and you see where you started and where you ended up, it's just like, I did that,
I did. And with that, like, I know a bunch of people who work out and do all type of things, and I'm always telling them, like, you can't mess with me, because like, how much weight you lift, how much whatever you do, like the mental fortitude it takes to do something like this.
To run, it's a totally different mindset to run. To wake up in the morning and put on those running shoes and get out there and just,
when you don't want to do it.
Yeah,
Right.
And to push yourself, that's a different type of individual. That's a different type of person. So
exactly.
It definitely is. For one of my milestone birthday years, it was my goal to run the LA Marathon. And I started just like that. I just woke up. A friend of mine, I was like, this is what I want to do. And she said, I'm with you. I'm going to do it with you. So we got up, started running, like you said, a mile at a time. And it was struggle mode. I mean, like, I had put on weight at that point. I wasn't feeling comfortable. I couldn't even run like a block without breathing hard. And then fast forward to the actual day of the LA marathon, it's almost like something took over me.
Right.
You know, it's
There's
just like I'm like, what am I? Exactly. And I remember mile 13, my feet started swelling, and I'm like, how am I going to finish this? So the whole second half of the marathon was complete struggle mode, but I had that same mentality where I was like, I have to finish this. So once you get to the finish line, my time was horrible, by the way, but it was more so about accomplishing and finishing it.
And then, like you said, with the start, like you're not being able to run a block, right? With everything I preach, repetition and consistency only makes you better. If you do it over and over and over, you're gonna get better. Because people hit me all the time, like, oh, like I don't want to be last, and I don't want to, you know, my time and blah 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 blah. But if you do something enough,
right.
You know, you podcasting, like you know, your first episode. If you look at your first episode opposed to now, you know, it's so much better because
first episode, was trash. And I'm talking from a personal standpoint. When I look back at that episode and where we are now, I'm like, you know, he's absolutely right.
No, but repetition is key. And I feel like, especially when it comes to sports and running, it creates this level of discipline that bleeds over into other areas of your life. So it's not even just about waking up every day and running. Like, yeah, you're doing that. And when you're out there in the morning working out, you almost feel like this sense of accomplishment because most people in the world aren't doing that. But it does bleed over into other areas of your life and create like this level of discipline.
And when she ran the marathon and when she was training for the marathon, I thought she was crazy. I was like, why are you waking up running at 6 a.m? And that was at a time where I was still I was still in the club promoter game. So I was, you know, in that field, you're getting home at 2, 3 a.m. So she would be like, you want to run? I'd be like, no. But speaking of that, you did do a little bit of a club promoting nightlife in LA too, right?
Yeah, man. I've been doing, you know, I did promoting young, and like now, you know, I'm back at it a little bit. But I've always been on the scene in the club. Like that's always been fun for me. Yeah. Like it's never been like I'm never gonna be there like, oh, I'm too old to be going to the club. Like it's fun. Like I really just enjoy being around people and hearing music. I don't have to, you know, be drinking heavy or talking to women or whatever. I just want to be in that atmosphere because it's cool to me.
I've heard people say if you're from LA, you've never been to a Butta function, then you're not from LA.
I've heard multiple people say that. I have seen the videos.
I throw the best house parties hands down, and I put any amount of money on that. If anybody listening and you want that challenge, let me know.
So let's talk about KeepItRunHundred.
Yes.
You started running. Now, in your club days, like in the heydays of your club days, were you running at the same time? Because like he said, he was getting home at 2 a.m. So were you?
My heyday, no. I was like, as you know, like I slowed up a little bit once I, you know, became a parent and things like that. But you know, like because you have to try to find that balance between recklessness and responsibility, you know. So I still would hang out, but then like I was still going out, and then but running when I started taking running serious in 2018. I was all like, I still go out, but then all I want to do is run.
Yeah,
you know, I'm training because it to train for an LA marathon or a marathon in general, it requires sacrifice. So you have to give certain things up, you know. So not hanging out as much, not doing this and that, you know. Because I have to wake up at 5 a.m. to get up and run before it gets too hot, you know. So like, I sacrificed. But like now, speaking of KeepItRunHundred, my thing is, everything gets 100%. If you see me partying it, and I tell you we're gonna work out at 6 a.m., I'm gonna be there, ready to go. There's no excuse with me. Parenting gets 100%. You know. So that's a big reason why I call my company KeepItRunHundred.
So how did it come into play? You were running every morning to lose weight. You had your daughter. And then at what point were you like, I want to create KeepItRunHundred to inspire other people and get other folks to join me?
It wasn't even to really inspire. It was just like my friends would hit me up because I would, you know, document my journey on Instagram and things like that, how, you know, my runs. And everybody be like, "Oh, I want to run with you," and blah 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 blah, and nobody would ever show up, and like
Sounds about right.
It's
like
tough, it's tough to get people to run.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough.
right. So I'm like, I put a tweet out saying, if I start a run club, would you come? And they had a really good response. The first run, I had 8 people. I'm like, that's a good start. This is all I want to do was just get my homies out. Like, let's just get out and do something. Like, come. This is what I enjoy doing. Come join me. We were only doing 2 miles. We ran at one point, turned around and went back. Like, it's very, very simple. Like, I'm not asking. It's not about time. It's not about pace. Let's just invest in ourselves, because as people of color, we're combating so many just different things.
Yes.
Heart disease, high blood pressure, cholesterol, whatever, COVID, et cetera, et cetera. A healthier lifestyle helps with all that.
Right.
So I just want, once I found the love and just wanting to be active and be healthy, I wanted to pass that on to people. So it was just really for me and my friends to do something, and then it just continued to grow. Like by 4 months in, I'm getting 40, 50 people. Now we're 3 years in. We're only doing once a week now, as opposed to when we were doing 3. But like, we're doing once a week, getting 100 people every week, and it's
And by the way, happy 3-year anniversary!
Thank you so
just
much.
hit the 3-year mark for Keep It 100. So
congratulations.
congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I actually join him every Thursday, 7:00.
Shout out to you.
And I'm stuck at home with our son, so
we're gonna get her out.
Get a chance to join. That's just that's an excuse.
Get the stroller.
Yeah,
Bring the stroller.
there are people out there that come out with toddlers that are about the same age as our son's story. So I saw one guy that was carrying his.
Oh yeah, he carries his kid like on his neck.
That's like 30, at least 30 pounds, like for 3 miles. I'm like, woo. But yeah,
no power to you.
Yeah. So 3 years strong. I think average now you probably have at least 80 to.
Yeah,
I feel like
at the least I probably get like 75, 80 every week.
Every single week.
So, every single week.
That's amazing. So this is a Nike supported club. Does that mean it's sponsored by Nike? Like, what is the relationship with Nike?
It's in a supportive role. So, we collab with just different events. If there's things that I need from them, they'll look out and things like that. But it's a really, really amazing relationship that we have with them. We've been with them for about 2 years now. So shout out to the people over at Nike Los Angeles.
So Nike celebrated Black History Month by releasing a shoe, and then
in 2020
and highlighting some really powerful people in the community.
Yeah, it was a campaign that Nike, they released a shoe during Black History Month last year, and they selected a few young leaders in the community. Butta was one of them.
Amen.
And that was dope, man. You got a billboard in LA.
Yeah, you got a billboard out of it.
What did it feel like being from LA? This is your hometown, and to go downtown and see your face on a billboard on Olympic. What was it? What was that like?
Right. That was amazing. Like, to see that, because it was when the billboard dropped. First, there was someone had told me that they had seen the picture of me, and shout out to Amanda Gorman. Everybody should know who Amanda Gorman is. She spoke at the inauguration.
Yes.
Very, very dope individual. So we had a picture together that was in Nike Town at the Grove. And somebody hit me like, "Bro, you're in the Grove." I'm like, "Well, I got to get over there."
You didn't
didn't know?
I didn't know.
Wow.
I didn't know. And then, because I did a shoot like 2 months before.
Right.
I knew it was coming out. I just didn't know when. Like an exact date. And then people hit me telling me it was at Staples Center. Then, so I had to get down there to see that one, take pictures in front of it, and et cetera, et cetera. It was in Times Square as well.
Wow.
So,
now, this particular billboard that we're seeing right now is on the corner of Olympic and Figueroa, right across from LA Live, like Staples Center, Microsoft Theater, one of the biggest intersections in Los Angeles. Yeah. And so I actually work very close to that intersection and saw that billboard a number of times. And I'm like proud of you, because I'm like, that's huge.
That's
know
huge.
how many people are seeing this billboard? And in that particular month, you had a lot going on. You did like the Nike run in Leimert Park. That was February 2020, right?
Yes, it was. Right before the pandemic hit, that was the biggest run I've done. Nearly 800 people from my community.
Wow. 800 people?
And you don't see that. You don't see that in South Central. You don't see that in Leimert Park. So for Butta to be the one who brought Nike to Leimert Park, that's a big deal.
Right. So that was always one of my goals. Like my goal was always to do a run, 5K, 10K, whatever it may be, in the community I came from. So because the runs are usually like in the downtown area, the beach cities and things like that. So to put a run in South Central was was huge to shut down Crenshaw Boulevard, which you guys know is one of the biggest streets in the city,
Right.
you know, and because they get shut down for what, Taste of Soul, the King Parade, and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
how difficult was that to get those permits?
we
He's like, I know some people that know some people that know
I'm
some
the
people
mayor
that know
of
some
LA.
people.
What do you know?
Right. If the mayor can't get it done, nobody can.
Right. But no, it was one of the most rewarding things I've been able to do in my time, you know, and I want to continue to do those things. You know, the pandemic, you know, slowed up. It didn't slow up the momentum. It just, you know, you just have to pivot
Right.
and, you know, figure out another way. But 2021 is here. The doors are about to be fully open, and we coming with more heat, you know.
So the pandemic hits. Let's talk about that. And you said you had to pivot because, you know, you're hitting 2020. You have this billboard. You're doing this run. You have a lot going on. Pandemic hits in March. How did that kind of affect like your run club? Were you guys still able to go out there and run, or was it more like, we need to do this quietly? I don't want to put you on blast or anything, but you know, with social distancing being implemented heavily, like how did you kind of keep that going?
I stopped it. Of course, I wanted to be the rebel and just continue to keep going. Like, don't pay them any money. Just keep doing our thing. You know, my runners were still meeting up, and you know, and I was like, man, I gotta stop because like, of course, it's not what I want to do, but it kind of has to be done right now. Like, I want to be, you know. So that was, you know, I continue to keep people engaged and, you know, motivated through like different run challenges every month on the Nike app and, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So that had a really good buzz because I was creating challenges all over the place, you know, 40 miles, 100 miles a month, whatever. So just to keep people active, keep people going, you know. So that was a good way to, like I said, that was my way of, you know, pivoting and adjusting to continue to keep people going.
Right. Now, I first met you at the gym, the 24-hour fitness. I remember when you told me that you had started running, and I had kind of told you, like, I want to come out, but I was one of those people who never showed up. So I knew you were running, and I was following you on the gram, seeing everything you were doing. Fast forward to June of 2020, Marcus had expressed interest in running. I have a cousin who has run the LA Marathon several years in a row, and we always go out and support him and cheer him on. And
shout out to Marlon, because
shout out to Marlon.
He's the one that gets me up. I started running last July 10th of last year, and like you were saying, last June, during the midst of the George Floyd, everything that was going on with George Floyd and all the protests, there was a huge protest in Leimert Park. And I think you put together a run during that time.
Yeah, it was a run, walk, bike situation. Right. So we ran from Hilltop on Slauson down to Leimert.
Right. So we're at this event, we're protesting, and then there's like a kind of a speaker and with some live performances and some speakers. And you got up there and spoke, and Rhea was like, you want to start running, right? She was like, that's my boy Butta. He is the one you need to talk to. If you want to start training, you want to start running. And I don't know if you remember, that's where we met.
I remember. That's where we talked.
And it was like, it was just a crazy moment because I knew that I wanted to start running at that time. It was just something that, you know, like she said, Marlon inspired me, you inspired me. And for us to meet at that moment, it was like, it was meant to be, you know. I was like, because whether you know it or not, you know, I got to give you your flowers. You definitely inspired me. One of my biggest inspirations is to start running.
Thank you, bro.
And I started like you started. I could barely run 2-3 miles. It was a struggle.
Now you up every Friday putting up those
so
numbers.
Now I run Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays with Marlon, and anywhere between 6 to 7 miles. Sometimes we do, if you're feeling it, we do a 10. The longest I ran was from Hollywood to Santa Monica. It was a 17-mile run. We did that twice.
That was about like 2 or 3 weeks ago, like about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
right?
we actually did it twice. We did it for my birthday in November, and then we did it about a month ago.
Okay, yeah, because I was gonna come to one a couple weeks ago, but I should probably be at the next one.
Yeah,
you know?
so that's so that was a trip for us to meet, and I think that was something that was supposed to happen.
Yeah, and it's just perfect. Like your runs obviously are off of Market Street in Inglewood, so it's just perfect to have something like that available to you right there in your community because there's not many options like that where we live.
Yeah,
right. I was doing it in Inglewood was actually so I was doing 3 days. So I started off in Manhattan Beach on Saturdays, Culver City on Tuesdays, and Inglewood on Thursday. So Inglewood was, my way to, because of course I want to do runs in the hood. That's where I'm from. That's what I love. But it's not that easy.
Yeah.
Like when you in the hood, gathering at certain locations
it's tough. Yeah.
It's tough. Like
we're targets. Just put it like that. We're targets.
And if you're not from here, you really don't understand it. Yeah. But like, because people see, like I've taken a bunch of execs on like a bus tour through South Central, and they're like, why, here's a park or here's the park. Like, why can't you guys just meet? And it's just like, that's not how it works.
We can't congregate at this point. It's not.
No, this is not. Everybody's not going to these to certain parks.
Yeah, yeah.
But so like I started off in those cities, and my plan was to continue to work my way closer, and as people gravitated towards what I'm doing, I'm going to move closer to where I come from, and then once the hood falls in love with it,
we live in South Central, and I can tell you to congregate at a park with more than 4 or 5 people. You're a gang.
Exactly.
Right. So I definitely. So 2020 is a busy year for you. You got your face on billboards and Hollywood and downtown, and Pharell and Jay Z put out this video called Entrepreneur, which features small business owners from the community and leaders and activists. And how did you get featured in that video? Because when I saw that, I was like, okay, he made it. This is it. This is it. Butter blew up.
So, one day we were all sitting down, Miho, Pharrell, we're having dinner.
Right.
And
I was like, well, damn. Shout out to my boy Cal Maddock, the director of that video. Very, very dope brother from LA, Inglewood area.
For sure.
He handpicked a lot of the people from LA that are represented in the video. So, he gave me an amazing opportunity, and I forever appreciate him for that. And it was big. Like that was huge. That was huge.
That's not big. That's huge.
That was huge. So
yeah,
it was good. It was a really good look. Especially in the climate we were in.
Yeah.
To be doing a lot of people, losing their jobs or going through whatever they're going through financially. So to highlight people who still trying to, who are still trying to keep it going in the entrepreneur realm, was very, very dope.
And what I think is really dope about it is like, you had a personal goal for yourself and you wanted to implement some changes in your own life. And with you doing that for yourself, you inspired a lot of people. And it just seems like what you're doing is continuously growing and growing and growing. And I get excited every time I see something else because I'm like, this man is unstoppable at this point. Like people they really gravitate to you and what you're doing and just want to be a part of it.
Did you ever think that running would get you to this point, your brand would get this big so fast?
No way. Not at all, bro. Like I had no like long-term vision for this. Like I told you, it was just me and the homies gathering around. And it, it organically continued to just grow. Like I wasn't trying to sell anybody anything.
Right.
Like it's not like, oh, come with me and for $49.99, I'm gonna make you look like this. Like no, like it's pretty much it's coming out. I don't charge you for anything. It's really just pouring into yourself. Like Marcus, you've been there. You see how people are receptive to it. You see how motivating, how supportive, how we clapping, like we're clapping one another up. Like I tell the run group pretty much every week, like you go through your normal everyday life and no one's clapping for you through much. You know what I'm saying? So to come somewhere and be able to get away from life's everyday trials and tribulations, school, work, kids, whatever, and come somewhere where you are shown love, or something. Like I tell the gentleman, like they're able to be in a leadership role, because sometimes that doesn't happen in their normal life. So it's somewhere that it's like an escape. It's like, so, and you know, some people are going through mental situations where this is their outlet.
Yeah.
You know, like I've had runners tell me they've been on the verge of committing suicide, but this is what saved them. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just continue to keep pushing, man. Like running is something I'm gonna do, because we're starting it. It's like I don't press anybody to come. I don't when I see people out, I'm like, please come to my run club. Like, you see, my thing is with adults, you see what someone is doing if you want to be a part of it, or people see me out and they're like, oh, I'm gonna come. I'm like,
just do it.
Just come.
All right,
just do it.
Like
I'm gonna be there. So like you telling me that does nothing for me, because I'm gonna be there. So, and people try to make themselves feel more important than what they really are. Like the run club, you know what time it is.
Right,
Don't DM me asking me what time. Like this is probably the thing I post the most.
Yeah.
But people just want you to do the work for them, and it's like.
Well, you know what's interesting, because Marcus and he'll be like, you should come out. But I also think running is a little bit intimidating for people, especially when you're talking about long distance. So I know what both of you have said. It's like, it's not for your most skilled runner. There's people who walk. There's people who run.
Yeah.
It's more so like just people supporting folks. So I think it's important for folks to know. It's not for like
community. It's community.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
And I have to mention that the Thursday night run is a run walk. So his mom actually attends.
Nice.
His mom attends every Thursday.
Yeah, you can run, you can walk. My mom leads the walkers. She thinks she popping because she has a following now. You know, people always looking for her. You know, people hit me up in the street. You know, see me like, oh, is your mom gonna be there this week? Or, you know,
yeah, his mom, aka his twin, because they look exactly
really
alike.
But no, it's my thing with the run club is community. You know, like I spoke on earlier, just being pushed and supported. You know, because we don't have that. You know, like for some people it could be church. You know, but that's not for everybody. So like just to come somewhere and just feel welcome. You know, so like I said, you can walk. It's all ages from 5 to 75. You know, so everybody comes out. It's not about time. It's not about pace. It's not about any of that. Just come, invest in yourself, pour into yourself. You know, just get active, get off the couch.
That's right.
People hit me about, oh, I don't want to be last. You're gonna stay last. There's last. You're gonna stay last if you stay on the couch. So
that's right. So, Butta, your last birthday, you announced that first of all, you had a huge block party. I think you brought out all the L.A.
No, we weren't invited.
Nope, no permits. No nothing.
Permits,
I just did it on.
And we didn't get the invite.
We didn't get that invite.
I got something next year. This was
so you during this party, you announced that you were opening a business in the community, in your community, and it's kind of a creative space. Can you tell us about that?
So on my birthday, I announced that. So where I grew up, there's a creative space about 50 feet from my backyard. There's an industrial area. So I at my birthday, I let the community know and the people know some of the things I've been doing, because I purchased the house I grew up in, first of all.
Wow.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Oh, like behind the house is the industrial area where me and some buddies of mine, we've turned that into a creative space where people are able to come, film, do photo shoots, podcasts, things like that. I want to put that in my neighborhood to where people are able to come through me instead of having to go to the west side and pay, give somebody else the money. You get what I'm saying? So, and as well, like we did a run, about a 2.5 mile run through the neighborhood to see the space passed by my middle school, where before COVID, I was working to implement a run program for the middle school kids, because kids aren't as active as they used to be.
Right.
So I was starting a program called the Morning Mile, try to get kids going, just get them moving, because they're all on iPads.
Yeah, it's
and,
all technology driven.
So just trying to get them moving, and then as well show people the house. So it was a really, really dope event. Probably the hottest day of 2020.
I'll admit that run, because that run was at like 10 in the morning, right?
It was at 10, yeah.
10, and it was warm that day because I usually run at like 6:30, 7 in the morning. And when he said 10 o'clock and I looked outside and I felt that heat, I was like, you know what, Butta? We have to catch you on the next one.
I should have did it earlier, but I didn't.
Man, the people still came out though. People came out. I saw a lot of posts and a lot of videos from that run, and a lot of people did come out.
Yeah, man.
But how do people join you? Like, how can they get in touch with you? Is there a website that folks could go to and kind of sign up, or just get on a mailing list to follow you and see what you're doing and see where your runs are?
Right now, everything's pretty much on Instagram.
Okay.
It's very like there's no. I took my website down, but it'll be back up shortly.
Okay.
But everything is Instagram. You can follow me at Barack_Obutta. Or you can follow Keep It Running.
And it should be at the bottom of the screen right now at Barack_Obutta.
Or you can follow the run page at KeepItRun, the number 100. Everything gets posted on there. Any information you know on runs, you DM me. I'll definitely get back to you. So it's very, very easy process. There's no mailing list. There's no sign up, anything. Just come.
Yeah.
My thing is just
show up. Just show up.
Come as you are.
He said, yeah, come as you are, definitely. It's not like I don't try to make things difficult at all.
Yeah.
It's I don't want to put pressure on anybody, because like I have in the run community, there's thousands of run clubs.
Yeah.
I believe I have the most reluctant group of people to come. So I'm not going to push the heavy training aspect of running onto you. My thing is just come get here.
Yeah.
See what we have going on. Once you kind of, start feeling it, then if you want to, do more or get better, like I have ways of going about that. But just get here first, and then we'll figure out the rest later.
Right. Right.
That's right. One of the things that I respect and love about the Thursday night run is at the end of each run, Butta does a spiel where he thanks everybody for coming out. He talks about upcoming events, upcoming runs that he's doing or that he's participating in. And then he opens up the forum, his floor, to anybody that's there who has a business or who's, doing any type of project. If they started a podcast, started a business, and he lets them come up and present to the crowd what they're doing. And I think that's so dope, because I think, support is what we need as far as taking it to the next level, to getting out of where we are. I think support is so important. And for you to give people the platform in front of 80 to 100 people to, promote their business or whatever they have going on, I think that is just super, super dope.
Thank you. As you've seen, I always say, like, somebody here, we can all help one another.
Right.
Everybody here does something.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to put it out there, because whatever you do can definitely affect someone else, in a very, very positive way. So, like I said, I'll open the floor. If you do taxes, if you braid hair, if you're a mechanic, if you're a bartender, if you're a party promoter, planner, whatever, like, it's here. We can, and you see, I'm big on preaching family. Like, we are a family. Once you come here, you are a part of this family, and we can continue to grow together. So, like some people, they're a little hesitant sometimes because a lot of people aren't as vocal, whatever. But it's just like this is here for you, and. So if you ever want to pull up and share what you're doing, pull up to Keep It 100 on Thursday nights.
That's right. That's right. And since you are always the one to open up your platform and to let people promote what they have going on, we want to extend that to you as well. Let us know what you got going on next. What's the next run? What's the next party? So I recently posted that this chapter of my life is called "I Can Show You Better Than I Can Tell You." That's right.
I'm big on just putting in the work, because there are a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm about to do this. I'm working on this. Yeah. And then
we skip the announcements. Just skip the announcements.
Yeah, just show me. Yeah, show me the work.
Right.
I'm big on just putting in the work. Like, I have a lot of things I'm cooking up right now, and I can't wait to show the world. You know, like I'm booming. I'm gonna take care of it right now. Like,
oh, you popping in LA.
I'm not gonna be modest about it. You know, I am bringing back the LA function on June.
Uh-oh.
I can't even say the date. Let me but it's coming back to those of y'all who want to turn up and party with me. It's coming. But no, it's a lot. I'm cooking up a lot right now, man.
And like I told you last Thursday, I'm retired from the clubs, but I might have to pop out for that one. We might have to pop out for that one.
Yeah, pull up, man. It's gonna be a great time, man. I'm big on just like putting on for the city. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm always, my mind is always going and trying to figure out ways to just, make things, make people. I want everybody to love whatever it is that I'm doing without, I'm not a big bells and whistles guy, but I'm gonna just give you who I really am, I'm unapologetically me at all times. So if you like it, you like it. If you don't, well, we're gonna have a good time regardless.
That's right. That's right.
Well, we appreciate everything you're doing. You're such an inspiration to us, to the community, and we're going to continue to follow and support everything you're doing. So we appreciate you being here today.
And we appreciate you supporting I Survive 2020. And once again, that's a dope ass hoodie you got on.
No, listen, I thought it was a 101, but I was wrong.
Great minds think alike, brother.
Everybody's gonna have it on. I'm glad I was able to match with you today.
That's right. We appreciate you, Butta.
Thank you guys so much, man. I see both of y'all on Thursday with the spoiler. Okay?
with story, right?
Gotcha. I'll be there.
All right, man. We'll see you there this Thursday.
For sure, man.
Yes, sir. Butta.
Have an amazing day. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, brother. Too. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you.
If y'all need anything from me, just let me know.
Likewise.
Sure. Have a good one.